Good morning, my name is Martin and this is the Tribe of the Fox. Before the Tribe of the Fox started this YouTube channel in the English language, we already had a website in the Dutch language. And on that website there is a ton of great articles about ancestors, about nature spirits, about the deities, about field trips, about the rooms. And you can find a link in the description below if you can read Dutch. Now, why do we, on our website, why do we first speak about the ancestors, then the nature spirits, and then the deities? In that particular order. Why not first the deities? Well, the deities are in a way also ancestors, so they're not really on the third place. But there's a reason that we start with the ancestors. Before Christianity came, ancestor veneration was a very, very, very important part of spirituality. Probably the most important part of spirituality. And not just for the Germanic people who lived here, but also for their predecessors, like the funnel beaker people and the bell beaker people. And there were many more cultures around in those days. So how did the people do this ancestor veneration? Was it just remembering? Well, it was actually more. So what people used to do is they used to bury or cremate their ancestors. And these ancestors were put in burial mounds. And there's still thousands of burial mounds left, even here in the Netherlands. And there were also megalith buildings, megalith structures. They were made by the funnel beaker people. Now, we also have a very nice video about the burial mounds in the Dutch province Gelderland. And that video is made by Dirkje and she shows you beautiful imagery of these burial mounds. And she talks about very personal experiences that she had while sitting on the burial mounds. Because that is exactly what our ancestors did. That's exactly what the ancestors did. If someone died, he was buried or cremated, put into a burial mound. And that was not just a grave. This was a place where you could go to. Where you could go to if you needed advice or counseling from your ancestors. And you could access them by sitting near the burial mound or sitting on top of it. That is something that you can still do today. Not all the burial mounds still have energy in them, no. And you can experience the energy in the burial mounds is very different. Some are very welcoming, other ones are more like, yeah, it's okay that you're here. You know, we don't mind. And in other burial mounds you might not feel very much, just slightly. So that's an important thing. You can go, for instance, that's what our ancestors did, going counterclockwise around the burial mound, making offerings. And this is something that Dirkje describes in the video about visiting burial mounds. And we will put a link in the description below. So that's knowledge that she had from actually she gained from sitting on that burial mound. And I was there too when that happened, but I had it was difficult for me to make contact. Now anyway, so the ancestors, they kept on playing a role in families and in societies, because you could visit them for counseling. Sorry. So this is ancestor worship or veneration. And what I do is every evening I light a candle for my ancestors. And yeah, I like that very much. This is a way of keeping contact with them. Because I can tell you from my own experience, the ancestors are still, well, watching us sounds a bit strange, but they know what we are doing. And they rejoice if we make the right decision. To give you an example, when I made the decision, to leave Buddhism, because I've practiced Buddhism for 10 years, I've even been a monk. When I decided to follow the way of my ancestors and leave Buddhism, I was in meditation, meditation during a certain type of therapy, a therapy to restore my energy system that was a bit damaged after all this unhealthy monastic life. So then I was in a very meditative state, and then I saw, how should I describe this? A hole. I saw this hole with my inner vision, not with my physical eyes, that was filled with energy. And I could feel the ancestors, and they went from me all the way to that primordial hole. And so I could not see them, but I could feel them, and they were simply approving my choice. And I was kind of astonished what happened. So yeah, so that's a very a great experience, because that was for me really an encouragement to study the ways of my ancestors for as far as we can, because lots of knowledge has been destroyed by Christianity, and we have to get all this knowledge back. And you cannot only do this by reading books, but you also need shamanic experience. So anyway, this ancestor is very important. And you can visit the burial mounds yourself. Now, another very big thing is nature spirits. It's not really that you worship them, but the nature spirits are ancient and they live on the land, even in more urban regions. I mean, I live in the west of the Netherlands, which is fairly densely populated area. But still, you do have nature spirits here. And yeah. So important to be kind to them, to respect them. Sometimes if I know where they are, then I bring a little offering, like a carrot or a potato or a bottle of water, then I pour some water on the ground. Just to show them that I know that they're there and I appreciate them, because they are the beings who make things grow. They are connected to nature. These are beings that live sometimes in our world, but partly in another world as well. And it's not always easy communicating with them, they're not human beings, so they communicate quite different. But I can sense them, but not with my eyes, not with my ears, with my feeling. The human aura is like an antenna. So if you are aware of that and you're well grounded, then you can sense that. Well, not everyone, but very sensitive people can sense that. So yeah, nature spirits, very, very important. And there's several kinds of them, even here in the Netherlands, in this densely populated country. There's elf energy in some parts of the country, especially in Gelderland I encountered this. And there are also nature beings that I really don't know what they are. And actually I shouldn't care who they are. It's just a matter of being friendly to them, give them something now and then. And Sometimes you just feel that you're not welcome, well, then leave them alone. You know, I don't like it when people trespass in my house or in my garden. Then I get really upset. And that's the way nature spirits also behave. So yeah, nature spirits, very important. And then there are the gods and the goddesses, because there are many goddesses as well, you know. I can remember there was this lady who, in a shamanic course that I did, and I was a student in that course, and one lady, another fellow student, it was Northwestern European shamanism, and she practiced all these, you know, Egyptian gods, Greek gods, Roman gods, whatnot. And then she discovered that we have a lot of also goddesses, and many women feel attracted to that. I mean, not to women, I mean, you know what I mean, to goddesses. So yeah, because she had the idea that we had this macho religion with all these very muscular gods like Thor and Wodan and so on. But there's many goddesses, many. It's not all about death and war. It's about fertility as well. So it's very interesting. Now, what are these gods and goddesses? Yeah, that's the question. You know, you have to find out for yourself. I think that they are both archetypes and realities at the same time. With archetypes, I mean that every nation, every group of people, they basically create gods that, well, they don't really create gods, but these gods, they are basically, first they are just forces of nature. And we, as nations, as tribes, as groups of people, we give them more an identity, you know, a face, a character. And that turns them into more human-like realities. So they are realities as nature power, but the way we perceive them, that's what we made of it. So the realities and archetypes at the same time, if that makes sense what I'm now saying. That's basically my opinion. You know, you can have another opinion and that's perfectly fine. And I say this a million times, this is what paganism is, you know. It's not about I'm right and you're wrong, because we all wear a different pair of spectacles. We all see things slightly different. So yeah, that's why pagans cannot go to war with each other. I perceive the gods as realities, personalities, and at the same time archetypes, because why is a person like me attracted to Wodan, Vrouw Holle, Hela, the Norns? Why am I not attracted to Freya or Freyr as much? I mean, I appreciate them as well, that's not a problem. But why am I more into this more underworld gods? Well, that's just my personality. That's why there are also so many gods in pantheons, you know, in the Germanic world, the Celtic world, the Slavic world, well, basically everywhere in the world where people live. Because all the nations in this world are slightly different, or very different, but within those groups of people, people are different as well. So that's a really nice thing actually, you know, that's why I like this underworld gods. That's my personality. And these gods have healing aspects as well, and fertility aspects as well. So yeah, I'm perfectly happy with that. And other people are perfectly happy with Freyr and Freya. Very good. Yeah, or with more local gods like Nehelenia, if you prefer a more nautical goddess. Yeah, so that's all very nice. So, ancestors, nature spirits, and gods and goddesses. So that's very important. You see that we are so connected with these deities because they are also archetypes, that in that way they are also ancestors of us. That's why they're not just on number 3, they're also on number 1. So yeah, that's a little talk about ancestors, nature, spirits and deities. And I really recommend you to experience them for yourselves. If you don't know how to do this, then please listen to the Tribe of the Fox, because we speak from our experience. And we also did shamanic courses. That's a very good thing to do, because you learn a lot from it. You know, Dirkje and me, we done courses with Linda Wormhout. She is a Dutch teacher. She teaches Northwestern European shamanism. And that's very experimental, you know, because just what I said, a lot of knowledge was destroyed when Christianity came. For instance, to go back to this ancestor thing, sitting on burial mounds, the Roman Catholic Church at a certain moment said, no, this has to stop. We, the Roman Catholic Church, we want to cut you off from your ancestors. Because they're apparently evil. I don't know. They're not evil, but... So the people that were cut off from their ancestors, you know, they became, in a way, whole nations became orphans. Yeah. And then they felt like orphans and they ran into the arms of the Catholic Church. And later the Protestant Church. But you know, people are still sitting on burial mounds today. That's the cool thing, you know. You can say that it's not allowed, but what people then started to do when they could not sit on burial mounds anymore, they would sit on the top of the roof, because that's a liminal place between earth and sky. It's pretty fascinating, you know. People always do what they want. And when that was forbidden by the church, to contact the ancestors that way, people were sitting at the doorstep of the church, because a doorstep, or a door, is also a liminal place. You have to find these liminal places, you know, that's where the magic happens. That's where I found my first nature spirit, by the way, in a little swamp. It's a place between water and land. A liminal place, people. Very important to look for those places. Very, very important. Yeah. Or liminal times, you know, between when sunset comes or when sunrise comes. Those are also great times. So yeah, I hope you learned something from this. You know, you can all experience this yourself. Find a good teacher if you have the possibility, you know. And like I said, Dirkje and me, the Tribe of the Fox, we are speaking from our own experience. So we're not teachers, not in any way. We are just students ourselves. But we just enjoy talking about this with you guys. And share your experiences in the comments. I mean, we really love to read your comments. We really love to read about your experiences. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe and share. And I wish you a nice day, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.